Hello boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Now on the back of us looking at the WellPro PPK20, which is like, a modernised PP19. Well, people say I'm wrong saying that, but that's just how I see it because I'm familiar with the PP19. That thing was a, more modern version of it in my mind. Which leads us to this one. This is the WellPro WE09 GM, or better known to you and me, the AK12, which is a more modernised version of the AK. So before we get into it, let's take a look at what came in the box this thing. So it did come in a hard case. So past version of myself here. So it's just much easier for me to do the actual unboxing like this rather than on the bench, because you guys know how chaotic the bench is, and I probably wouldn't fit it in shot anyway. These guns come in a nice black hard case. There's nothing descript on the box at all apart from a label that has like the SKU from the place where we got it. So we open this up here, we pop the foam up. So we get a nice hard case with eggshell type foam. We've got the WellPro AK12 gas blowback rifle there, clean and jamming rod. We've got a speed loader with like a normal pistol style adapter there. So speed loader in the box, you get a gas magazine, you get some BBs that you should immediately throw in the bin and never use, and we also get a little manual. So that's everything that's in the box. This is unboxing. We'll get back to the usual format now with present James, and let's see what this thing can do. So nice to give you a hard case. There's nothing on the front of it in terms of picture or anything like that you had with the PPK20, but you still get the same hard case, eggshell foam. In the box you get all the same gubbins, speed loader. You get a manual, which we'll take a quick look at because we've got some better lighting here. Very much the same as the other gun we looked at, just a little bit different because of course this is a slightly different model. So I'm hoping this is closely based on the Marui AKM system. As a quick glance, it kind of looks that way, but we're going to take a look at it. So also in the box, we have this other box, which gives us our magazine. So there was a lot of people asking on the Discord a month or two ago, asking if I was going to get these mags in to test with the Maruis and see how they perform. And at the time, I was kind of slightly interested, but the mags just look massive, and they are big. But I think the problem is they're not big; they're just very square and boxy looking. So in the hand, it's actually not that bad. And obviously, we can put this into the AK12. So what is it? It's a gas blowback AK that's supposedly running on the Marui AKM system. It's basically modelled after the AK12. Now, I'm not sure if this is accurate to the real AK12. There may be little differences. Companies, when they do it, always have little bits and pieces off here and there. But we're going to take a quick look. First, I'm going to get the magnet. So we have a steel receiver, steel top cover. Let's take the mag out just a second. All aluminium up front. What else we got? Trigger's not. The selector plate is the actual selector itself. I don't think is. Maybe it is. It's slightly attracted to it, but that could be the receiver pulling the magnet towards it. Same with this side. I think it's just attracted to the receiver. Trigger not, of course. You got all the pins and gubbins, which are steel, and stock hinge. Let's have a look at that. So the stock button itself, again, I think it's just attracted to the receiver. Everything else on the back, the main bracket at the back is magnetic, so it looks like steel. On the stock it's not. So maybe a couple more components that are made from steel compared on the PPK20 compared to this. However, not a bad start whatsoever, is it? So if you know your AKs, this looks very familiar to you. The one thing I will say on this one compared to the PPK20 when I took it out of the box to do a quick function check is the bolt on this one is a little bit sticky. I think it's actually loosening up with a bit of use. But as you'll see there, when it's on semi-auto, it does stick. When it's on full auto, it doesn't stick at all. But it's, oh, there we go. So the bolt is just sticking. So we might have to run it in But we've got a nice looking flash hider there, your front sight post, your handguard, which is polymer, which I'm not sure if these are QD points. They don't look like it, but let's give it a try. So we do have QD sling points on the stock, and the handguard ones are not. They're just literally holes in the handguard. Got another one on the stock back here on this side. So if you want to apply a 2-point sling, you're going to have to put some kind of fitment on here, unless there's something hiding behind that rail, but I very much doubt it. This has the very same selector system as the PPK20 does. So you've got safe, semi and auto. This one actually has a notch cut out of the lever. So I think with the real one, you pull this back maybe, and with putting it on safe, you'd be able to lock that to the rear, but it's not the case on this one. You can't actually push it up all the way, and the charging handle doesn't come far enough. And the first thing I want to see with this is, you know, this comes back. How are we going to measure this? Do I have a tape measure? I don't think I do. But how far is this coming back? So roughly the length of this Allen driver here back from the front there. I'm just going to grab a Marui AKM so we can compare it, and you'll see it comes back about another ½ inch. So the travel on the bolt is stickier than the AKM, which it's going to be. I mean, the AKM is just buttery smooth. I do have a heavy recoil spring in there, so it will come back a little bit more prominently. Maybe that's what this needs. Now with the iron sight, it's very much the same as the PPK20. So you've got this rotary piece here. You basically push this down and you rotate it, and as the number gets higher, the little peep sight comes higher up, but you have to push it down to actuate it like that. The front sight again is adjustable just by turning it. It's very much a similar system to many guns out there. The feel of the rifle, to be honest, it's just as solid as the PPK20. There are a couple of rattly bits, so you've got this like sling point on the sling point attachment, I presume, on the front of it, which, you know, I'd never plan to use. The stock is nice and sturdy when it's folded. You basically push the button and you can fold this round. It's got a little spring mechanism, which is this silver piece here, which basically applies pressure upwards to kind of hold this in. It doesn't lock it in place because you can still pull it out, but it just gives it a bit of spring tension so it's not like flopping around. On the stock, we have the same lever that you push through and you extend it out. We've got 5 positions on there. There's 5 numbers. Let's give it a quick test. So we've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, actually, we've got more. Oh, we've got 6 position stock, so the cheat riser comes up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 positions. And you'll notice me pulling it there. This has a very unique cheat riser. So it sits down like that, and then you basically just pull it up, and it comes up and sort of cams forward, which makes it lead up to the back of the top cover there. And I really do like this. So it's comfy in both positions. It's kind of weird. I'm not entirely sure what's going on inside here, but when you, like, say you're using a red dot or something on the rail, this helps a lot, just bringing your cheek up. Or you can put it away, say you got like a mesh face mask on, fold it away so you got a little bit more clearance. I really do like that. So to get the top cover off, we have a pin in the front here. We just push that forward and pull it till it stops. Then that enables us to pull the top cover back slightly, and then it pops off. A lot of similar looking parts to the PPK. These O-rings don't look quite as equally stacked as the PPK did, but that's your buffer system, which is a couple of O-rings. It's very hard. The recoil spring is not the strongest, but it looks like it's going to be Marui compatible there. We can pull the bolt out and you'll see a very AK-ish style looking bolt there. The front piston part, or the faux piston part, does have O-rings on there, is held in by a pin instead of being screwed in, which I'm sure the AK1, no, the AK1 M1 is pinned. It's the Saiga one that's screwed in. And again, a very similar looking bolt to the Marui AKM. If this bolt is, you know, a carbon copy, they'll do very well if they can produce these nozzles as spares, because there's a lot of people crying out for Marui AKM nozzles because they just can't get them if they break them or something goes wrong there. So it's not, of course, steel. All this is like pop metal components. So it's not heavy at all. If we look in the back here, we've got what looks like literally a complete rip of the TM AKM hop unit, which means like the AKM hop arms, it looks like they're going to work. What we'll quickly do here is just rotate the wheel. It does turn very easy. So you basically rotate it back like that for more hop. And push it forward for less hop. It's a lot looser fitting compared to the Marui. So we'll have to see how well that does. What they've also retained is this little lever here. So this is basically a system that Marui did where you could dry fire the AKMs. I think if you pulled it down or you pulled it, struggling to get a finger in there. So you pulled it and pushed it up like that, and it latches onto the sort of the hop unit, and hopefully that gives us a dry fire function, although it doesn't look like it sits on there very well. The trigger components look pretty much identical to the PPK20. You've got this weird spring-loaded piece on the hammer. We'll have to run it a bit, see if it loosens up. If not, we're going to have to polish some parts, because like I say, it is binding when actuating the bolts. Slide that forward. We can put the recoil spring back in. Good if you're doing maintenance, very easy to work on. Keep it clean and keep it in good working order there. The top cover, we slide that back on, push the pin in. Like I say, I think it might just need a bit of running in. Here's the mag. It's completely made of metal, much like the Marui ones, and hopefully we'll be able to see how well this thing works and if it is compatible with the Marui AKM system. I'm going to take some gas and put a squirt in this magazine. Just make sure we've got a good fill there. It's quite a big magazine. We don't want any running out. We will have to do a bit of a purge, so hopefully we can do a bit of a dry fire to purge it of the atmosphere. So put the mag in. I have got the, well, I did have the empty mag arm, basically that little component here that sits, but just putting the mag in has popped it off, so it doesn't latch very well at all. Hopefully we can get that to stay in place, and let's see if it fires. So semi-auto, very punchy, and that rate of fire is spot on. I really like that. It's not like, you know, rapid, it's like da 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 da. That seems really good. Now, For comparison, I've got my Marui AKM here. Do I have any mags for it? I'll have to have a look round. Let me see if I can find some mags from my Marui, and then we can compare what they sound and feel like running on semi and full auto. Right, found a mag. Bear in mind this does have an upgraded recoil spring. We've got that same fitment, but this one latches in really nice. It's 130% recoil spring in this one, so we'll see how it does. So you see it's a lot speedier on the pickup. Very nice indeed. And then just before we go back to the AK12, we'll take a look at the AKX, which we'll have to make sure that's on, which it is. And we can give this one a this is such a heavy gun. So AKX by Marui. I do like that little stick out lever on the Marui lever. And this is what the Marui AKs are well known for, just how incredible they are on full auto. And now we'll go back to the AK12. I'd say that's a more realistic rate of fire. Now, you are running the, the standard recoil setup, but how it feels in your hands when you're firing it, it feels nice and punchy. It's like got that very metallic snappiness, like the vibration. It's very snappy, so it's very hard to put across on camera. But it looks like this one is going to be just as good, if not better, hopefully, than the PPK20. What we'll do, we'll turn that lever off. It does seem to have sat in place there. So firing it was no issue, but if you hold it back like that and lightly let go, it does stick. So it might just be getting stuck on the hammer. Again, this could run in over time. Now, you know what I want to test, don't you guys? Will the Jaeger Precision Easy Loader fit on this mag? And it looks like it does. And it feeds superbly well. I would even go as far to say that that feeds even better in the well as it does in the Marui. Very, very good. I'm super excited to give this a go. So bear in mind we have shot, a fair bit on full auto before this test. I have regassed it, but the magazine is starting to get a little bit cold. We've got our chrono set to 0.3 gram BBs, which is what I'm using. And we are going to give the AK12 a spin. I don't hate that mag anymore. It looks massive on pictures online, but honestly, it just suits it, and in the hands it doesn't feel that bad at all. Right, here we go. The hop is set to 0. We've got 0.498 joules. 0.49 joules. Now, I have been told that the PPK20 and this rifle have end passes built in. What I am going to do real quick is I'm just going to put a bit of hop on, because it did sound like the BBs were rolling down the barrel. So just put a couple of turns on to make sure it holds it. So you'll see one fell out the barrel there. This might dry fire the first shot. I just don't want to double feed it. Yeah, so a little bit of hop on. So right on the joule mark there, 0.94 joules. So what you'll have found there, what is happening is without any hop on, the BBs aren't held by the hop rubber. So it's as soon as the BB loads, it's starting to roll down the barrel, which means you're probably only getting about half your barrel length give you any power. So now we put a bit of hop on, 0.98, 0.94, 0.96, 0.98. And yeah, bang on the money where you want it to. The Marui's on propane, you know, shot really high. You needed downgrade valves. This thing out the box is, you know, ready to rock and roll. So it shoots really well. No gas spit whatsoever. You know, I filled it up with as much propane as I could get in there. And it looks like this thing's an absolute beast. I don't think these are cheap guns compared to the other products that WellPro do. However, you've got to remember what you're getting. Gas blowback stuff is inherently expensive. And I love it when companies like this, and like with Double Eagle, just go, right, here's a Marui. Let's just copy everything as close as we can. Yeah, they've got a few little nuances, like the PPK20 has that weird cam system for the hop arm. But apart from that, keep everything as it should be. And the companies that do that and don't try and throw their own, you know, BS into the mix do really well. The Double Eagles did really well with the Noveski N4 and the Ghetto Blaster. The new Salvan Precision MPXs, the MCXs, sorry, they're literally, they run on the Marui system, but it's pretty much identical to the Toxicant. So there's a lot of people speculating they come out of the same factory or they're one and the same company. It doesn't really matter. They're very good and they're much cheaper. And then we have WellPro bringing us AKM goodies, and I don't think anyone's approached, you know, cloning Marui AKM stuff yet, so they probably are the first. But this is just one of those guns, much like the PPK20, that you just want to keep shooting. Like, just get your BBs. You've got your gas in your mag. You get your BBs. It's not incredibly warm here at the moment in the UK. It has been a little bit warmer today, sort of like at the peak of it. I think I saw about 15, 16 degrees. That was outside in the sun. We're inside, so you're sort of looking about 10 to 15 degrees here. I just want to rip it. Let's see if we can dump a full mag. Now this is asking a lot of the gun, so and yeah. After we've shot 2 or 3 mags, we can just gas it up, load it up with BBs, and just rip a mag of full auto. There are so many companies out there that just can't do that. The Marui is fantastic for it. It's like Marui said, and I've said this in many videos before, when they came to the drawing board with it, right, this gun has to be built for full auto, and it just runs on full auto, mag after mag after mag. I've been at games where I've been in, like, you know, a normal walk-on day, not a mills or anything like that. I'm shooting a little bit here and there. All of a sudden, the shit hits the fan. Maybe the other team's attacking your compound or whatever, and I've been in a situation where I've rinsed through 7 mags in a row on full auto, just trying to keep people back from progressing, and the guns just ran. And if this can do the same thing, which, you know, early indications are that it can, this is going to do very well. I almost didn't order this gun, if I'm completely honest. When I ordered, I was interested in the PPK20, and if you haven't checked out that video, go and check it out. It's the one I did before this one. I was interested in trying this. I was never really interested in the AK12. And when it came into the stockists here in the UK, I was like, oh, PPK20, they don't have mags, damn. You know, I'm going to order one anyway. Oh, they've got the AK12. And I removed this out of my cart like 2 or 3 times because I was like, you know, I just don't think I need it. And then it was just that voice in the back of my head going, there's so many questions you need to answer for the viewers of how this compares to the TM. And honestly, I am really pleased with it. The best possible thing WellPro could do right now is capitalise on this platform. So with the PPK20, do the standard PP19 models. You do one of them, I'm buying one. Go crazy with it, do even more. The AK12, give us the other models. Give us an AK105. You know, if you can do like an AK105 and all the other derivatives that runs like this, superb. To be honest, it would be in their best interest, I think, to be the first to the table with an AK-74 with a Marui system. If they could drop an AK-74 with a slightly straighter mags right now, I would buy one. In fact, I'd probably buy a couple of them. You know, AK-74, AK-105s, I know you've got the 102, 103, 104. There's loads of different models that they do in AKs, so I'm not the most well-versed. I'm just you know, monkey play video games, sees the models. So I'm not an expert in that regard in terms of the models of the AK platform. But there are favourites that I have, you know, like the 105, like the 74. If they could do a 74U as well, damn. I mean, I think it would just propel WellPro into a completely different stratosphere. And like my point is I really didn't want to buy this. I kept taking it out the cart. Like, I really don't need it. And I was like, yeah, we could do some content on it. We could show, of course, we could show it off to you guys. We're going to, of course, have to try mag compatibility, which I can't see why it would be vastly different, but we'll give it a go. Hopefully we don't break our magazines doing it. And I am so glad that my inner voice said, just get it, put it in the basket, get it, and worry about it later. And I picked this up because it looked, on the pictures on the internet, it looks big, it looks blocky, it looks uncomfortable. But honestly, I've been so surprised with this platform. It's not as big as what you think it would be. It's actually fairly like thin and agile. It is blocky, but it's, you know, an updated version of the AK, the AK12. And honestly, I love the fact that you've got, you know, these clicky selectors. That for me is a game changer, of course, as well, going from safe to semi first. I love AKs. I have a couple of them. But they're not as ergonomic as M4s, you know, having to go straight down. And then I always do this thing maybe where you go past it, you want full auto and you keep going past it like that. You get it nailed down, you're all right. But you've got to go past full auto to get to semi, which is just an AK thing. This thing is incredibly heavy and it's smaller than the AK12. The AK12 is actually lighter than the AKX. But, you know, I'm just going to keep repeating myself now. So, what do I like about it? Steel construction, running on the Marui AKM platform. I kind of like that funky, weird stock. It would be nice if the grips could be changed. However, it doesn't feel like there's any infrastructure there to have like a normal trigger guard, so putting on your AK grips and stuff like that. But it is, I mean, I presume this is a realistic grip to what's on the real AK12. The magazine, I thought I was going to hate it. I actually don't mind it at all. Nice blocky construction. I think with these WellPros, with the PPK20 as well, they it's just the finish on the mags, which, you know, it probably doesn't come across on camera, but it's a very, very glossy mag, which we could just strip it down and Cerakote it and it would, you know, dull it down a bit. Same with these mags, but honestly, I think I'd just let them get tarnished, which I don't think this paint is going to hold up to scratch for very long on the magazine. You can already see it rubbing off. I did notice that there was a bit of like dust or like metal filings. This could be from shipping. However, you'll see on the valve knocker there, you've got the valve knocker here and this piece, which is like some kind of latch. I'm not entirely sure. They do have a little bit of damage on. So maybe they test them in the factory. There's no real damage on the magazine in the same place. So yeah, really do like this. I approve. The AK12 is kind of freaking awesome. I'm not going to be able to get this in shot here because the thing's so big. Which, good luck with the thumbnail, future James. But I think WellPro onto a thing. And I said this about Double Eagle in the beginning, didn't I? So if Double Eagle keeps on this train, they're going to do very well. And what have they done? They've kept on the train. They're doing very well. WellPro, if you're listening, we want more AK models. Just keep this platform, keep everything the same. Maybe brush up on the QC here and there and the parts inside if you can. I would always spend a little bit more to have like nicely made hot components because the wheel does look very, very flimsy. Not something that could be fixed, you know, aftermarket wise. We could make some better looking and better working hot wheels. The stock, I actually like it. I wouldn't intend to change it. It's folding, so going to CQB and everything like that, it's going to be a good thing. You've got 7 positions on it. It's not super heavy, even though it's made of steel. And yeah, I think they've pulled it out the bag with this, and I'm very, very impressed with it. So hopefully we'll get to see more. So if you've enjoyed it, let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the links in the description below if you'd be so kind. And remember, if you've got an AK-12, the Jaeger Precision AKM easy loaders work with this as well as your AKM. So thanks for tuning in as always, and from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.